Now I'm back at PwC and I work here in our consulting business, and we provide services to a whole range of federal government and corporate clients around Australia. So we do a whole range of things. For instance, I work now in the technology and projects team. We're developing a digital operating model for one of our very large clients. So we're looking at what's the future of doing business. Currently, business is based on a particular siloed approach in most cases, unless you Google or Facebook or an organisation like that. If you think of federal government, it provides services face-to-face through, say, a Centrelink office. You provide services over the phone, and in some cases you have an online system. The way of doing business in the future is very different. It's enabled by digitalisation. So we're looking at how do you get a traditional organisation that has limited budget and funding, and all of us are in a situation like that at the moment. How do you enable them to make decisions that affect clients and assist clients to do work quicker and more efficiently? So you've got smaller and smaller budgets, you've got high client demands, clients want to use their mobile phones, their iPads, their laptops, less so than mobile phones and iPads. But there's all these emerging new technologies, and how do you as an organisation deal with that and take that forward in a way that manages risks and regulatory and legislative requirements? So that's what we're looking at the moment. Absolutely fundamental to anything like that is the fact that you use experts in a particular field and you deliver quality to clients at all times. So I'm not a digital expert, but we have a team who work for me who are digital experts. So at no time, I would suggest, you would ever want to pretend to be something you're not. So that's one of my fundamental values, and I have 7 of them written down here. I brainstormed before I came on. So I think acknowledging what you're really good at and making sure you always do that well, and then bringing people along with you on the journey and acknowledging what they do really well is really important. And that way you can work together as a team. Another fundamental value along similar lines is about creating a vision or a goal together, co-creating a vision or a goal, so that everyone on the team understands what are we trying to achieve for ourselves and for the client, and how do we get there. So what steps do we need to put in place, and who has the skills to help put those steps in place and to deliver quality at all points in time. I would always encourage any team to recognise the strengths of the individuals, because it's the strengths of an individual that make up the team that deliver a service. And professional services deliver services. So we deliver a product, we deliver an operating model or a report or an analysis. If you're in federal government, say if you're in the Department of Immigration, then you're delivering a service to your client by helping them get a visa or a spousal visa or all those sorts of products. So any industry, irrespective of what it is, we're always dealing with humans and we're delivering a service. That's absolutely critical. I think clearly articulating expectations and deliverables up front, having them agreed, and then running towards that end goal is really important. And that articulating the expectations is both something we as staff members can do, but also an organisation can do, and we can do with our clients as well. And that enables you to deliver on-time, quality work that helps the client do what they need to do in their business everyday transactions. I think always you need to give credit where credit's due. That's part of being a professional. So when someone's done a really good job, acknowledge it, and that works at university as well. I don't think that's every aspect of your life, to be honest, but in a working environment, in a professional environment, people will support you longer term if you can acknowledge that someone's done a great job. You recognise their skills and capabilities, and you recognise the benefit that they bring. They feel valued. Any individual feels valued because of that, and they'll do a better job next time as a result. A couple of career things that I've always kept in mind whenever I've looked at what I'm doing for the next few years, and I generally have a plan for the next 3 to 5 years. It's just the way I operate. I'd encourage everyone else to do the same. I think it's easier that way, because then you know if you're not on track, and then you know if you need to change. I think the key points or decision points that are going to potentially make a career change or a change in the things I'm doing, what's the contribution I'm making locally, nationally, to my community, to my family and to the people I work with? and am I learning through that process? So if I can't tick both of those boxes at any point in time, I know that it's time to change. Or if one is kind of there but it doesn't feel right, if something doesn't feel right and the contribution you're making might be not a positive one, then again I think it's time to change. So that's how I make many of my career decisions, and with my staff and coachees, that's how I encourage them to sort of map out the pros and cons of any decision that they're making as they go along. What are the expectations on our industry participants? Probably a few key things. Basic fundamental expectation is that you have the right qualifications, the right level of training, so your bachelor degree, your law degree, all of those sorts of fundamental things that enable you to perform or have a particular competency and a skill set. From there, the onus is on you to progress your career. So I would suggest that people need to map out what they want to achieve and how best to go about achieving that, and then challenge your staff members or your team leader, your employer, to help you realise what that means. So you might like to go, if you're a CA for an accountant, you might look at the CA website, the Chartered Accountant's website, and find out, what does it mean to be a chartered accountant? What are the ongoing professional development opportunities? What do they expect me to be proficient in? Do I need to do training on an annual basis? Will PwC, my employer, provide some of that training? Will they help? Will they provide study leave for it? Or will they provide some financial assistance? Or will they do their own in-house training that meets the professional development requirements for an annual year to maintain my certification or my license? Some of those things are really good to get your head around before you go out into the workforce, because I think the amount of structure that is in a particular industry will dictate your career progression. So some industries are more structured than others. Accounting is fairly structured. They explain what you need to do and how many hours you need to do it and what areas you need to be competent in and upskill yourself and that sort of thing. And organisations like PwC are very good at ensuring their staff members are adequately prepped and prepared. A couple of extra attitudes that I think are really important is honesty, being open and authentic. So genuinely believing in what you're doing and helping people to understand what that is, and helping and trying to understand what others are doing and want to achieve. The minute you put your head in the sand and you're not aware of the overall vision of the organisation or the people you work for or the people you work with, that's when you lose track of achieving a goal together. And taking people along on the journey with you, I think, is really important too. So sharing it with other people.